Man, just such a beautiful song. I was fully engrossed with that one listening to it. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I am Molly and in this video I am going to be listening to the album Downward Is Heavenward by Hum. Now quite a while back on the channel I checked out Hum's third studio album, You'd Prefer an Astronaut, which was an amazing sort of spacey, atmospheric rock record. I really enjoyed the tone of it and a lot of you were saying I had to check out their follow-up album Downward Is Heavenward as well. And yeah, I'm just really excited to check this record out and see how Hum is going to continue their sound on this one. Alright, starting Downward Is Heavenward off is track 1 called Isle of the Cheetah. Right off the bat, I love how cushiony this guitar sounds. It's got such an amazing softness to its tone. It's really interesting the contrast between those instrumentals that have such a muffled quality, almost like this blurriness to their sound, and then his voice is so beautifully clear. It's kind of breaking through all of that muffledness. I love that little twinkling tone that I keep hearing in the background. Little flash of bass just there. Ooh, I love it. Your hand looks so nice in mine. That was track 1, Isle of the Cheetah. I've never heard such beautiful sludge in all my life. That song was just absolutely fantastic in how immersive it was with its sound. I felt like I was being plunged underwater at times, like with that muffled quality I kept talking about to the instrumentals. It just had this really fantastic sound quality to it. But a beautiful way to get this album underway. I'm going to continue on with track 2 called Comin Home. I love that change in tone there of the guitar. It's kind of like this track gets on this momentum or this roll, and then the guitar kind of brings it to a stop for a few seconds. Was that one vocalist? Kind of hard to tell. They might have had a second vocalist on there for a second. That was track 2, Comin Home. Definitely a little bit more upbeat than the opening track. It had such an amazing punchiness to it. I loved with that one though how they got this sort of tempo going. There was like a flow to that song, and then with that change up with the guitar, it was like it came to a jarring stop, and it kind of matched with the lyrics. He was saying we'll have to turn and go home soon, and it was like sonically that song took a turn. I thought that was really cool. All right, moving on to track 3 is If You Are to Bloom. The bass, I absolutely love. I'm thinking of your wide open eyes, perfect little thing, and rolling softly till the underbelly shines. There's so many different sounds going on that they're doing with the instrumentals. Again, it's almost like this pool that you're getting plunged into. It's like I'm surrounded by sound. There's such a delicateness to this song. It's so beautiful. I love the really strong acoustic tones that it has too.
And the coil speaks. I'd like to see us together. Need to lean on a soft one.
Alright, now they're putting some distortion on the vocals here. It's kind of like he's drifting away.
My face has to quietly make your way. And you.
That was track 3, If You Are to Bloom. Man, just such a cool sound to that one. I loved the fusion of that really warm, gentle acoustic guitar with that kind of sludgy, almost noise rock, like atmospheric sound that they had going on. Like you really heard that at the end when that song was fading out. There was almost like this cold industrial tone to it, but then it had that warmer, more upbeat, gentle sound of the acoustic guitar, and that dynamic I just thought was beautifully done. But up next is track 4 called Miss Lazarus.
I come to you all dressed in sand.
I love the waveriness of the guitar, how it's kind of going up and down a little bit like that with its tone.
Was mine.
Okay, this song just changed a little bit. This part right here is really reminiscent to me of the Smashing Pumpkins. Interesting vocals. It's kind of like they're going all over my headphones. There's this really strong echoiness.
The pages of constructions on the rise.
That was track 4, Miss Lazarus. That one kept changing up. I really liked how it started off pretty gentle. It sort of had that more relaxed quality to its tone. And then they injected on more of that acoustic guitar. That was really front and center. And that song kind of transitioned all of a sudden to like a different tone. And then it happened again toward the end and it became a lot more speedy and it had more punchiness to it. I really enjoyed how they kind of fused all of that together and they had those change ups across that track. All right, moving on is track 5 called Afternoon with the Axolotls. Man, there is such an amazing crashing sound to this.
She hits the blade with both hands high.
It's like they switched that track off. That guitar, oh, I love that tone. It just contrasts beautifully with this sort of wall of noise going on.
Downward is heavenward.
It sounds like a helicopter, this sound effect they're using. That was track 5, Afternoon with the Axolotls. That song was so well developed. Hum is just the perfect example of a band that can do so much with seemingly so little. I feel like they have this very almost intimate sound to them. Like there's not a ton of instrumentals going on, but the things that they're doing are just so unique and they're put exactly where they need to be to just create this amazing tapestry of sound. All right, up next is track 6 called Green to Me. I loved that little chimey tone that I just heard.
She wakes up fine and rested well. Lays him on to see how we sound.
That sludginess from the guitar. I love it. I just got goosebumps right there. It was almost like that song took off all of a sudden, and with that vocal distortion, it was almost like a rocket launch. That was what it was reminiscent of to me. That was track 6, Green to Me. That one took it yet again in a little bit more of an upbeat direction, especially compared to that last song, which had that more drawn out, fuzzy quality. Green to Me had more of those punchy moments. I loved the tuning of the guitar. It had this sort of sludgy quality to its tone. But continuing on with track 7 is Dreamboat. Almost like this song has a gravitational pull to it, like there's so much weightiness, and then it gets turned off and it's kind of like you're just floating around without anything tethering you down. Such an abrasive tone just there. Alright, it sounds like we're getting a little outro here. I love how prominent this bass is. That was track 7, Dreamboat. That one was just absolutely fantastic. So enthralling with its tone. How they would switch it up from that sort of muffled, floaty, spacey quality, and then they would bring the punchiness. Like I said, it was almost like gravity was turned on or something. Just all of a sudden it kind of yanked you down out of that. And then at the very end when it kind of faded out, the guitar tone almost reminded me of a foghorn from a boat. That's kind of the tone that it had. Moving on to track 8 is the Inuit Promise. I like that guitar tone. Again, it's got such a sharpness to it. It really stands out for that reason.
Teach me the bluest song you know. Inside my mind.
All of a sudden, this song just took on a really warm tone.
Glad we got your hands warm so my arms can feel like trust again. We lost the road now to come down and see.
It sounded like some electronic things just there. Like these effects kind of pinging by in my headphones. That was track 8, the Inuit Promise. Certainly an interesting ending to that one with all of those sounds and effects going on. And that track, I thought it was really cool how they were playing up all of the cold imagery like a frozen landscape and trying to stay warm. And there was something almost a little bit colder about the tone of that one until they injected on that kind of surge of energy later on. And I mentioned that it sounded warm all of a sudden. Just with that one change in tone, they really altered the effect that that song was having with its sound. All right, up next is track 9 called Apollo.
I'm thinking of a number between everything and two. They'll just blink out and quickly go away. It's lift off again.
There's such an amazing gentleness to this song, but sort of a melancholiness as well.
And I need you back here on the ground. Moonlight brings me back again to stay.
I love these drums, the sound that they have. It's like they're starting to bring a little bit more of a punch of energy to this song.
Tethered to a glass ring, she keeps beside the phone, and it's molecules of you.
That was track 9, Apollo, an absolutely beautifully mesmerizing track. That one was definitely more restrained, more pulled in with its sound. Something really emotional about that one for me too, listening to it. It had such a tenderness, like a somberness almost to its tone. And lyrically, it sounded like it was about him releasing someone that he didn't have as strong of an attachment to as she needed. He's kind of trying to find the space in between, but she needs the full partnership from him. That's my interpretation of it anyway, but man, just such a beautiful song. I was fully engrossed with that one listening to it. But I'm going to move on to the final song on Downward Is Heavenward, which is track 10 called The Scientists.
Electrified and lit up by an outline of itself, dreamed about.
Man, their bassist is certainly talented. I always notice when that tone really shines through.
Too much here, too late. She says, keep this benzene ring around your finger. Systems back down slow, watch the dust cloud.
It sounds like they're layering up the vocals right here. There's like a faint second vocal going on. This percussive element going on here, I don't know what it is. It's got this almost like metallicness to its tone.
Systems back down slow, but the pinhole captures all of you. Too much here, too late.
That was track 10, The Scientists. It almost sounded like he was fading away there at the end or floating off into space, almost like he finally got that detachment that he was looking for. Such a cool track. Again, sonically, so many little things sprinkled on that one, and they definitely decided to end that album on a little bit more of an upbeat, punchier note compared to that last track. Well, that is going to conclude my reaction to Downward Is Heavenward, the 4th studio album from Hum. I would say comparing it to You'd Prefer an Astronaut, this one goes in a slightly more gentle, warmer acoustic direction with its sound, but there was still so much of that amazing sort of ambient noise rock to it as well. Some of the standouts with one listen, I loved track 3, If You Are to Bloom. That one had an amazing tone to it, just such a lushness to its sound. Also track 7, Dreamboat, was really interesting, how it would go back and forth from the muffled to the clear. And I think my favorite right now is track 9, Apollo. Definitely the most restrained on the album. A very soft song, but so much emotional delivery to that one. But Downward Is Heavenward, I can see why a lot of you are suggesting I check this one out too. This is yet another fantastic addition to Hum's discography, and let me know in the comments if you want me to do any more of their albums here on the channel. But yeah, as usual, thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next video.